Hey guys, it's Miss Johnson, and I'm here to bring you your second notes video for Unit 1 on solving inequalities. Today, our learning target is I can write and solve multi-step inequalities. Yesterday, we talked about equations. Today, we're going to talk about inequalities. So, just a reminder from yesterday, these were the 4 steps that we used in order to solve equations. The first one was to simplify each side of the equal sign by distributing and combining like terms. The second one was to gather variables to one side of the equal sign. The next step, we used addition or subtraction to cancel the constant. And the last one, we used multiplication or division to cancel the coefficient. Okay, so those were the 4 steps. Now, those 4 steps are still the same. We're still doing the same type of thing with inequalities today. So that's why we make sure we're really strong on those. Let's just do a few more equation examples and talk about those together. In number 1, it says negative 2 times the quantity 3x plus 5 is equal to 4x plus 20. Okay, so according to our steps, the first thing that we need to do is distribute that negative 2. So I'm going to take the negative 2, multiply it through to both parts behind parentheses, giving me negative 6x minus 10 is equal to 4x plus 20. After that, I notice that there's variables on both sides, so I need to gather them to one side. I'm going to move the 6x, so add 6x over. So that cancels that. Add 6x, because whatever you do to the left, you got to do to the right. Negative 10 is the only thing over here. Then I have 10x plus 20. Then the next thing I would do is subtract the 20. So I have negative 30 is equal to 10x. And last but not least, divide by the 10. And I get negative 3 negative is equal to x. How about number 2, another equation reminder there. I take a look at that equation, and again, I see some distribution that I have to take care of. So I'm going to distribute that negative 7. That gives me negative 7p minus 49. I also need to distribute the 3 plus 3p minus 12, because positive 3 times negative 4 is negative 17. So now I see like terms that I have to put together. I need to put the p terms together. I also need to put the constants together. So negative 7 plus 3 gives me negative 4 times p, and then negative 49 and negative 12 is negative 61 is equal to negative 17. I need to move, I have my variable on one side, which is good, but I need to cancel this constant by adding the 61. So add 61, that makes that go away. Negative 4p is equal to negative 17 plus 61 is 44. And last but not least, I would divide by the negative 4. So I have p is equal to negative 11. All right, there's my p term. I want you guys to pause the video at this point and see if you can do number 3 on your own. So do this one on your own. Let's move on to number 4. In number 4, I'm going to distribute the 9 on the left. That gives me 9b minus 36 minus 7b. On the right, I have to distribute the 5, 15b minus 10. I see lots of things that I have to fix here. Here's my like terms. 9b minus 7b is 2b. 2b minus 36 equals 15b minus 10. I'm going to subtract the 2b so that my variables work on the same side. That leaves me with negative 36 is equal to 13b minus 10. Then I got to get rid of the constant, add the 10. Negative 36 plus 10 is negative 26. That goes away. You have the 13b. Last but not least, divide by the 13. Positive 13 there. Oops. Positive 13. Negative 26 divided by positive 13 is negative 2. Okay, so that's just a review of equations. Now again, you guys have solved equations quite a few times. You know how they work. You did a bunch of them as practice yesterday. So hopefully this is all review for us. Now let's just talk about inequality symbols and remind ourselves what inequality symbols look like. So the first inequality symbol that we have seen in the past is the less than symbol. Less than means any thing that is not as much as, or there's fewer than. It's any solution that's smaller than, and it does not include the number. Okay, that's the less than symbol. That's how it's read. So it's read less than, and this is what it means. The next one down is greater than. So then we have greater than, which is the same as saying more than. The next one down is the less than or equal to. That's how that's read. And that means at most or no more than. So it could equal that, but it can't be bigger. And the last one is greater than or equal to, which is at least or no less than. This is, you see at least a lot. So at least usually tells us the greater than or equal to sign. The last thing that we need to remind ourselves about inequalities is that when we are multiplying or dividing, we need to make sure that by a negative, I should say, multiplying or dividing by a negative, we need to make sure that we are reversing the inequality symbol. So remember to reverse the inequality symbol when you multiply or divide by a negative. We always have to take a look at what we're multiplying or dividing by to make sure that we don't have to, if we have to flip the sign. All right, so let's flip over to the back and take a look at a few questions there. I'm going to take a look at number 5. In number 5, I need to start with distributing the negative 4. So take the negative 4 and put it into both parts. That's going to give me negative 20w plus 32 is greater than 53. And then again, I still solve like normal. I'm going to subtract the 32 because I have no more like terms to worry about. So this goes away. I'm left with negative 20w is greater than uh, 53 minus 32 gives me 21. So then I have to divide by the negative 20. It ends up being kind of an icky fraction, but that's okay. We end up with W. Oh, and take a look. You are dividing by a negative, so that means this is going to flip to less than 21 over 20. And you know what? I just noticed that this is actually supposed to be 52, which is why that worked out the way that it did. So on your notes sheet, if you check your notes sheet, this should look like a 52, not a 53. And I think that's what it says on your notes sheet. So this would have been 52. This gives you 20 divided by negative 20, which then gives you a negative 1. I still have to flip the symbol because I'm dividing by a negative. I have W is less than negative 1. So since W is less than negative 1, here's what my graph looks like. I'm going to graph this. I'm going to put, it's always a good idea to have 0 on your number line somewhere. That doesn't mean it has to be in the middle, but it should be on your number line somewhere just because it's a good point of reference. So let's say I put 0 right here. I need to count backwards to negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. This one would be up to 1, up to 2, up to 3. And then I need an open circle because I'm not including the value. Open circles are for less than or greater than. Closed circles or filled in circles are for less than or equal to and greater than or equal to. That's a note to remind ourselves of. So this one is an open circle at negative 1, and my solutions are less than negative 1. So I need to ask myself, where are the numbers that are lower than negative 1? They're down here to the left. So I'm going to shade down this way to the left. Okay, so somehow show me that you're moving that arrow down to the left. Let's take a look at number 6. In number 6, we have 13 minus 4k is less than or equal to 27. So that means I need to subtract the constant of 13. 13 is currently positive, so I need to subtract it away. That leaves me with negative 4 times k is less than or equal to 27 minus 13 is 14. So then I need to go ahead and divide by that negative 4. And again, Don't forget to check what you're dividing by. I'm dividing by a negative here, so that means my sign is going to go from less than or equal to now greater than or equal to. And that's 14 divided by 4, so I get k is greater than or equal to 14, oops, that's a negative 4 there. 14 divided by negative 4 is going to give me negative 3.5. And you can plug that into your calculator to help you with that, or you can use your fraction rules and simplify that way. 4 goes into 14 3 times. You have 2 left over. 2 out of 4 is a half, and there you go. This is going to be a closed circle at negative 3.5. So again, I'm going to have 0 up here because I need to go down to negative 3. I actually need to go almost down to negative 4. So there's negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. Here's negative 4. You're going to be somewhere in between those two, right in the middle. That's negative 3.5. You need a closed circle because this time you're including the value. And solutions greater than, shade to the right. So I'm going to shade up here. So shade your arrow up to the right. All right, I want you to work on number 7 on your own, and then we'll come back together in class tomorrow and finish the rest of the notes. Don't forget, after you finish number 7, to hop back to Schoology and take that quiz, and we will come back together after that. Thanks for watching.